G'day everyone, Jason Nunn with an early Friday fishing report brought to you by Fisherman's Warehouse Marine, Sweet Street, Warners Bay. And of course the reason that we're early, being Thursday today, is unfortunately guys, I'm the bearer of bad news. The weather Saturday is terrible. Possibly south-southwest winds up to 30 knots middle of the morning, and swell 4.5 metres and possibly beyond that. Absolutely terrible. Today being Thursday, you can see behind me here guys, it's actually picture perfect. We've just come back from Nelson's Bay, had a test run up there on the bay. The bay looked absolutely beautiful, and the ocean looking out over the Stockton Bridge was just dead flat, absolute mirrored out as far as you could physically see. A few guys today went out wide chasing yellowfin. Water temperature out wide has really dropped off. It's around about 21.7, but patches of 20.5, 20.9, so it's really cooled off. But out wide, probably that appeal for maybe early season yellowfin. So definitely worth a look, certainly as they are today and or tomorrow. Tomorrow predominantly northwest winds all day, and that change is due to kick in tomorrow evening. So just be aware of that if you're going out. But you've got to salvage something, because otherwise you're going to have cabin fever as we've all had, because Saturday, Sunday, Monday, even into Tuesday, the weather just doesn't improve at all. We just can't get a break on good weather over the weekend. Reports, guys, coming in, those guys that have been able to get out and do a bit of offshore fishing, there's some really nice inshore fish happening at the moment. Still bonito around, of course, but trag, mulloway, plenty of flathead, some really nice reds in close, but a real mixture of fish, tarwine and brim. You're seeing them all on that broken ground, particularly up around Jules, up towards Dudley Redhead area, Merriweather no exception, and of course back down towards Catherine Hill Bay. For those guys, probably tomorrow, I'd reckon, even this afternoon, up around Broughton Island would be ideal. And you've got some really nice tides. I'll give you an example. Tomorrow, of course, is a 10 o'clock low tide and a 4:30 high. So that 4:30 high, around about 1.45 metres as well, will be perfect, because what's going to happen tomorrow afternoon is you're going to have that barometer starting to crash out before we get that big change. And I reckon those snapper on those inshore reefs, if you've got the ability to do so, will really bite their heads off. So the inshore, still a lot on offer. Even tomorrow with that nor'wester, fishing the areas such as the farm or maybe ducking down to Texas before the blow will be also beneficial. Good snapper on the farm and kingies down south. There's a light easterly, sort of east-nor'easter sort of kicking in here at Valentine at the moment. So it's not going to be too much at all. So tomorrow nor'wester, take some advantage of it. Not a lot of swell on the beaches at the moment either, guys. So another opportunity to get up on the beach on that nice high tide and try a bit of tailor fishing, get up towards Stockton Beach, chase a few of those mulloway, because there's quite a bit of mulloway on the offshore reefs, but coastally as well, on the beaches and on the rocks. Been a lot of brim, and with that colour in the water, as you can see behind us here, a lot of colour in the estuaries. But the beaches themselves aren't too bad. Stockton's pretty dirty because of all the river water coming out. But Belmont Blacksmiths down towards Catherine Hill Bay has some nice colour. So we should see a lot more brim and a lot more tailor. It's been a really slow season for tailor as well. And you know, this time last year we were really going gangbuster, particularly up at Belmont Beach. Hasn't been the same sort of season. It's a bit like the mullet catches have been well down. There's still mullet jumping in and around the lake. We came back around the lake there this morning, and you could still see fish jumping around. So it's been one of those real troubled type seasons. We haven't really had anything to settle down. If you're going to get in the estuary, a lot of mulloway in Lake Macquarie at the present moment. Also in the harbour, but of course you've got that influence of all that rain coming through, so the lake is holding true. A lot of very good mulloway around, but there's been some beautiful tailor. The tailor have been a bit sporadic. Last week, as we talked about last Friday, there was a lot of fish busting up, even in Warners Bay. This week it's continued, that fishing point, Coal Point area, back along Carey Bay there, a lot of birds working through there. There were some birds working off the yacht slip in Belmont 2 days ago, early in the morning as well. So you're going to need to move around, but the fish aren't really scared of this dirty water, so they're pushing the bait up and busting them up through the surface. There are a few salmon in the lake only though. There's no salmon in Salts Bay. I know a few guys come up from Sydney this week looking for the salmon. They're just not in Salts Bay yet. Those fish that are in the lake, to be honest, I think are resident fish that don't tend to leave the lake. So there's quite a few salmon in with these tailor schools, and particularly down around Pulborough and the western side, even over to Shingle Splitters Point. That western side is definitely worth a bit of a go for some of these tailor and obviously the odd salmon. Now, there's a lot of bream in the system, and as most of the guys were watching Facebook, and I've been watching a little bit of it lately myself, a lot of bag limit catches of bream coming around at the present moment. Darren Lachlan, he got some really nice bream and a nice flathead the other night as well. So we're seeing very good fish, a lot of fish in and around about, you know, as I say, a lot of fish 35s, but there are those better fish up to 44s getting caught amongst them. But there's those travelling fish are in at the moment. They're the fish got that smaller head with a big high shoulder. So a lot more diversity with the bream in the lake. But the bream are right throughout the estuary, in Salts Bay, down in through the channel, and right throughout the lake. There's some excellent fishing happening. The other thing that's actually happening in the lake at the moment, particularly the channel itself, and there's a nice Jew. Have a look at this one. Still alive, still kicking. And so that's what we're talking about. A mile away out of Lake Macquarie, and they're just coming in there now. So that's another cracking fish. So this is what you can see that's happening in the lake at the moment. Again, a lot of flathead, and I spoke about it last week. There's a lot of flathead in the channel, but there's a lot more flathead getting caught within the lake, and deep water vibing soft plastics around those bait schools are going to work perfectly. But you've got limited time, like all the guys are doing now, making the most of this perfect weather. Got to get out there tomorrow, guys, if you can, being Friday, a roster day, sick day, holiday, indifferent. Just got to get out there. It is going to be awful Saturday into Sunday, and hopefully when we do the report next week, I've got something positive to say about the offshore. Greenwood is very hard to get estuary-wise for the Ludrick, so just be aware, a lot of the drains are all washed out, so really ocean rocks for Greenwood, and you'll really need to do it tomorrow because that big 4.5 metre swell is going to rip it all again. We'll see you next Friday.